One.
Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. And just dropped the mail. Anyway, we're going to scrap that all together because I drew it to a total blank. So, in all fairness, from that end, we're going to be looking at literally organizing your life today. And I'm going to flip. I do not want that. Okay, that's all that. Now, and we have LA in the house. How you doing, LA? Hope things are going well. Tell you, I really appreciate your guys' help. And Renee Andrews, you are actually in with the goal today. Welcome back. And we completely scrambled the lead, but we'll have to work with it. But today we are going to simply turn around and start getting your life organized. Never mind mine, but we're going to walk through it one step at a time. Now remember, in today's world, if you're using digital, it works just as well. I still use pen and paper. Okay, because for me, that is the easiest way to run it. But what is the first thing you've got to look at in order to get your life organized is ask yourself one thing. Okay, are you content with the way your life is running right this moment? You don't have to know which way it's going. Okay, you don't have to know whether or not what you're doing is going to work. You simply have to know whether you're happy with what you're seeing. Now, one of the biggest things that you do once you've decided that you're not quite ready, you're not quite content. Ferret, you are in with the silver, and Joe, you snuck in with the bronze. How are you guys doing? Glad you could join us. It is time to get people's lives moving in the right order. Okay, the right direction in your eyes, not in mine. The fact of the matter is, if we leave things running the way they have been, this whole civilization is in trouble. Okay, now I am not doomsayer by any means, but let me ask you this: are you content with the way your life is running? Storm, how you doing? And again, thanks so much for all the effort. Theoretically, this will start moving things in the appropriate direction. I will tell you, just a quick side note, I am now redesigning the upfront and the front of my house, of my apartment, and turning that into a functional thing, into a functional mode as well. But to organize your own house, we'll start in the same place. Take a look at wherever you work on your finances. Okay, this is the brainchild of your home. And if you work from home, it is also the brainchild of your business. This is why it is absolutely critical you get the desk, the office area straightened out and get rid of the critical clutter. One of the neat parts about this, I was going to throw that out. I don't want to. One of the neat parts about getting organized is, and we discussed this yesterday. Not this room. The one up front I did. This room is still set up the same way it was. But what I have done is I realize you guys can't see it. My desk is approximately 15 feet long. I think 5, 10. Yeah, my desk and the shelving unit with it is about 15 feet.
Hey Keith, I can explain that for him. We're using a different broadcasting software, so the camera is flipped. So what you were looking at before was the proper way, but now the room has been flipped around. It's a mirror image of itself. So that's why it looks different than it normally does. That's
I
what Ferret
appreciate
was
that.
asking about.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird setup from my end. Mind you, because I've got the two monitors running right now, and you notice we're not getting any bleed off. With both my monitors, I can now actually turn my head and actually look at myself. I think. Let's wait for it to catch up. One of the neat parts about it, okay, is I talk to myself anyway. But the important factor when I look at it, when you get the clutter out of the way, the energy in your house will run more effectively. And the important factor from that end is the quicker the energy runs, the more collected your thoughts, which obviously doesn't always work because my brain is still on hold. But the more freely the energy flows, the more effective you're going to be. And the more streamlined your thinking process will run. This will result in higher levels of energy, higher levels of productivity. And if you know what you're doing in the first place, as you progress through things, it will also increase the level of your prosperity. Oh, I see what you mean. See, now if I look over that's an interesting setup. But yeah, I understand why the question around flipping. Of course, for me, it's a weird setup anyway. What I'm actually trying to do at this point is get things moving. And what you've got to do is go, okay, is my world running smoothly? We get the desk and get your office desk sorted out first. That will be your most important. Okay, now we go through this one step at a time because the logic in it is what's going to run your house. And here's the thing. The energy in your house no. The prosperity, the finances in your life don't care how you feel. The energy in your house absolutely does. But picture, if you will, a stream of water. The more clutter you throw into it, the more jammed and the more restricted the water flow is. Okay, I am curious about one little detail here. And I can test it if I'm walking over here. I don't think that helps. I'm just seeing nope, that definitely will not work well. I was just seeing if it still washes it out. But, of course, new and improved modifications, and we end up changing things around to see what happens. Oh, but now the frightening part is you can actually see me. Oh, okay. I appreciate that. Okay, how's that work as far as lighting goes? Because fortunately, I don't actually have to see what I'm looking at too much. Okay, perfect. See, the nice part here is I can shut all the lighting down because I've got enough light with the monitors running that I can actually see what's going on. So when we're looking at energy flow, energy reacts to emotion, but it works like water. Okay, so if you don't have the clutter out of the way, your energy levels are going to be restricted, very much like throwing a whole pile of rock into a stream. The water flow will reduce. This is why they put dams there. What I haven't figured out is why they do what they do with the dams. But the reason that I can't do much with the glasses, but if I take my glasses off, I can't read the screen at all, and that becomes a problem. So we're going to sort of have to work with that. You know, the thing I'm looking at is this. We get the clutter out of the way. Now, right now, if I look on my left here, okay, what I end up with is I've got the second monitor. I've got my fan to make sure I don't overheat, right? I've got my pens. Weird thing in an office, have your pens handy. And then I've got spare paper, but my desk is clear. You know, then we go across the next side, and I've got my physical calendar. That's how, and that reminds me, I'm supposed to look at that. In any event, oh no, I don't. I do have to start working on that for next week or for tomorrow, one of the two. Let me just grab this. Where did I put my pen? I was just talking about them. What did I do? Of course, they're not visible. There we are. So the first thing, one of the things about getting organized, okay, the list method works like an absolute charm. I call it the list method because, well, let's face it, I put things on lists. Pretty simplistic from that standpoint. But what I've got to do as soon as I get done this stream is lay out my next, and I'll be laying out my next month. The nice part about it is, like I said yesterday, okay, this week we're running with self-help, and in this case, organizing. Okay, next week we will move into the alien side of things, then into the creative side, and then into society. Now, one of the biggest things that we have to look at, what is today? Oh, that's because today is Saturday. That's right. Okay. Now, we get the energy, we get the clutter out of the way, all of it. Okay, you may have to put it someplace else in your house to start with. But the important factor when you do that is that it gets the energy in the office actually working. Absolutely, LA. That's what I usually do. I've got the three here. Today was a scramble job. I got up this morning, and my eldest son goes, "Can you take me down to the mall? I've got to pick up an adapter." Here's the thing with my dining room table. My dining room table up front, okay, is 3.5 feet wide and 6 feet long. A perfect, and it's a one piece covered in arborite, built literally. It was completed in March of 1963. So, bearing in mind, we don't leave my living room, we don't use the living room up front to speak of. I did some rearranging up front. My son has actually taken a flat screen monitor, taken the base off it, and laid it on the table. He's going to be using it for tabletop dungeon mapping. Okay, because the computer that we've got, or the TV that we've got that he's using, is big enough to run the little miniatures on. Okay, so how now? This is when we know that gaming has taken a whole new level. Okay, because now what we're looking at is a 2-generation run. And we can thank my eldest brother for this one, because he's the one that got us into it. But we get the energy moving. As you do that, as you get the clutter out, your brain will clear. Now, you'll notice me, well, you may notice behind me, I've got a little bit of work I've been working on here. But the bed now is clear for nighttime. When I get done this stream, that'll all go off it. As you get the clutter out of the way, then you start organizing things. Yeah, doesn't it though? He was quite happy when he came up with the idea. So it's like, okay, bonus. So now we're going to be able, with the and I can't show you the picture at this point. I probably should just on principle, but I gotta get it uploaded. But as you get things organized, first you get the desk clear. Now your brain can work. Okay, and I do mean that quite literally. You'll find it yourself. Now, of course, I've got the one desk over on the right here. This is where I keep my hard copy calendar. Okay, it's got a shelf that's got the various books I work on. Now, we're talking about organization right now. Okay, and here's the neat part about it. This one, believing yourself and follow your dreams, literally covers it in basic. I'm in the middle, like in a very point form version. I am almost done writing the fourth one in this series called Believe in Your Organization and Follow Your Dreams. I'm just putting the final edges on it and should have it done within the week. Then it's just a question of getting it down and printed. Joe is asking, well, yeah, Joe, let's see. I gotta go back up a little here. And I think I missed somebody, did I not? Nope, I did not. Okay. But you are right, LA. Organizing via list does organize the thoughts. And, when I'm writing, I do the same thing. By the way, you'll be happy. Well, you may not be happy to know. But Return to Paradise, the third installment of the Elder Boxing Chronicles. I've only got 2 chapters. Actually, I think I've only got 1 chapter left to write out now. Okay, but this book I should have completed within the week. Now, Joe goes, when it comes to the unknown, how good is their frequency when it comes to hearing what goes on at home? That makes absolutely total sense there, Joe. It depends on what they're looking for. They've got the capacity they've got the technology to literally hear you whispering to yourself if they really desire to. The reality is it's not usually of much interest. The fact of the matter is what humans call technology, they call a child's toy. Okay, you got to realize humans purportedly have a satellite that can spot an individual on the beach. Okay, which begs the question: if they've got that technology as they claim, why can they not find the people that they go missing? I'm just asking. Okay, but the off-worlders, they can do way better than that. For instance, if you take when we talk about the auditory, they can hear a whisper in your own room. When we talk visual, you go outside. They don't do it through the door or they don't do it this clearly through the walls as far as I'm aware. But if you go outside and you take your hand and hold it upright so they can see, they can spot your fingerprints. It's that refined. So hopefully that answers your question there, Joe. Now, as we have things moved around, the first thing you find is your brain starts to work faster. Your recall, not your memory, your recall will improve because the energy comes in unhindered. Okay? Now, we got to remember that when we are looking at memory in every corporeal is eidetic. Okay? Because you understand, whatever you go through, it's automatically recorded in the Akashic records. Okay, and yes, as I discussed quite some time back, the Akashic records are handled by the Zerzics. Okay, they are one of the few races, one of the few species that actually transcend the reorganization of matter. Okay, through what you call the Big Bang. But and that's the memory. Recall is where corporeals have a problem. Okay, but as you get the energy running smoothly, you will find a couple of things happen. One, your recall improves. Okay. The thing we have to remember about energy flow is, yes, in my case, I understand the way it works. And this is why I'm walking through this with you. Now, you've got an organizational system, hopefully, regarding the work you're doing at home, i.e., you've got a place to track your income tax, your expenditures, this sort of thing. I will tell you, the energy doesn't care about the way your mind works or the way your emotions go, but your comprehending it does. Okay, and one of the biggest things we have to realize is the more you're aware of how energy affects you. Think of it this way: if you're in your office and you're trying to do something, you got stacks of paper all over the place. How well does your brain work? How well can you focus on the project at hand? This is why, and again, it's all out of sight. I realize that, but then you don't need to see it, really. Over on this side, I now have a 4-drawer filing cabinet completely organized. The top drawer for me is business. That's where I do all my tracking of business expenses. Second drawer is for all my household running. Third drawer has all the books that I'm writing in hard copy. Yeah. Joe goes, I better stop talking and repeating myself then, or I'll be taken. Nope. Way, if the off-worlders were to actually pick up everybody that repeats themselves, nobody would be left on Earth. So you really don't have to worry about that. Now Faraday's just adding here. Another thing I do is have a box that I fill up with donations to charity. To a box out into I take the box out every week or so. Now, I love the idea, and Farrad, I'm going to steal you. I'm going to literally copy your idea there. Me, how you doing? Glad you could join us. You are in with honorable mention. Now, I will warn you about one little thing there, Farrad, as far as charity goes. Okay. Farrad goes, I have lots of room to buy more junk. Robert, how you doing? Glad you could join us. And yeah, we are talking about the simple modification of the way your life is set up in order to reclaim power over it. Now, I will tell you, Farrad, and I'm all for charity. Do not get me wrong. I'm going to, like I said, see, that's my receipt box. I don't think I have one. Oh, wait a minute. That should work. Nope. That's got stuff in it for a moment. But I am going to. That's not a bad idea. I've got those there. Good thought. So, let me just do something as I'm borrowing your idea right away. This. Yep, that works. Meet my new charity box. This, by the way, is a Martokian saucer. But I figure I had it anyway. But you've got an absolutely fantastic idea. Now, the thing... where are we here? No, you can't have that. The one thing I will caution you about, okay, and I caution this to all of you, look into the charity that you're giving to, okay? Oh, there we are. Yeah, I don't even work with selling it. But, Renee, welcome aboard. Glad you could join us. I love the idea. So, this little thing here, where did I just put it? This little thing here, I will start working with. Way up here out of the way. There, that worked. I love the idea. Get that out of the way. See, the thing is, where it comes to charity, yeah, no, Farrad, I will not take any more after what I found out the other day with Value Village. Somebody posted that on Facebook, and I went, well, what had, because Facebook or Value Village used to donate to Big Brothers. Now they don't. So I'm taking it into my own hands. Okay. Now I don't go to Craigslist, right? But, and I keep cutting myself off here. Where it comes to charities, if you're giving to a charity, and I mean any charity, find out how much of that money goes to charity, goes to what they're claiming. The best one, I don't recall the number, the best one I ever came across, 30 cents of your dollar went to charity. The rest went to their own pocket. Okay, so like I've got junk and what have you to get rid of, but what I'm going to do with the money, and I set this up already, I don't know how to think. Well, here's the thing. Okay, Philip, welcome aboard. In my area, now the Salvation Army I like, but in my area, they used to have a food truck coming out that went into the poor section. I knew the driver really well, and he'd come out once a week into the poor section, and he'd have a lineup going down the walkway, and everybody would come out and get a meal. Now, yes, some people came out that had lots of money and came out and tried and grabbed a meal anyway. But here's the sad part. Okay, I talked to him one day. I talked to the driver one day. I says, I'll see you next week. He goes, unfortunately, no, you won't. I said, why not? And I kid you not. This guy turns around and he says, well, they've killed the food run because it's not making them money. Now, at that point, I quit giving anything to the Salvation Army here. That was me personally. Okay, Salvation Army on a global level is likely really good. Okay. I don't even know if we have a local no-kill shelter. What I do know is I will donate food to a animal shelter or to the food bank. But the massive majority of the money I'm working with, okay, where it's going to end up going is I will take it down. It's quarter. I will take it and buy somebody groceries, or I'll buy like just a stranger, don't care who. I go in and somebody's short on groceries, pick up the bill for it. Or if I see somebody that's gone out and has is trying to have just a meal out. Again, it's something that we can help with. That's where I'm going to be sending any of the money I've got. this is, as you know, it's a cash box. This is why I collect the loose quarters and what have you to take down and transfer. But, see, I knew this was going to work well. Had to get my box down again. Whoop, not that one. There we are. Now, again, small bills can go in there. Now that money, I can go down and I will be, and this is why I said eventually. Yeah, absolutely, Renee. I found out about a few on Facebook where they posted the thing about Value Village. I actually asked for suggestions and got a whole list of ones locally, which is where I'll be going now, because I got a lot of junk I'm getting rid of that I don't require. But like I said, I've got the filing cabinet for physical tracking. Now, many of you use computer tracking for spreadsheets or whatever. Absolutely use it. The one advantage that I have by sticking to paper is if I have a power failure or if I fry a computer, all my records are still in the box. Okay, but again, the more organized your life is, the faster and more smoothly the energy flow will be. The more energy you're going to find you have, and the more productivity, the more prosperity that you'll deal with. I do need that where I can get a hold of it. That works easier. I'm hurt. I'm out of coffee. Also don't have any made, but I've gone through 3 pots today, so I should be good. What do we got? Now, that's interesting. But, no, where it comes to getting organized, get your tracking system laid out next. Okay, now, here's the other thing. In the room, when we start in the room that you work on your finances and you work on your organizational layout, get the floor cleared. Okay, I know it's a pain in the neck. Now, I said cleared. I didn't say you have to vacuum every day or wash the floors every night. Okay, I am just talking about clearing the clutter. You will find by doing that, things start to work out reasonably well. Okay, now, the real question you have to ask is, what are you doing with all this? Why get it all straightened? Well, here's the neat thing. Where is it? I saw something down there that was bugging me. I lost my stuffy. He belongs up on my windowsill. But one of the biggest things about getting organized is you can paint a much clearer picture of what you'd like. Like, for instance, we take a look around this room that you can see behind me. Okay, by doing that, what you look at is not how would you like it to look. Don't worry about trying to plot it out entirely. Okay, what you're actually looking for is what are you not content with. Okay. As you can see, I spot something and now I just go, it's got to be moved. So this neat little thing, I hang it up here because it makes it easy to find it. By getting the energy where it belongs, by getting stuff where it's required, And by removing the stuff you don't like the location of, again, you're clearing the clutter. The more energy that is free flowing, the better rested you're going to be. Okay, now don't take my word for it. If you're finding you're worn out, that you're tired a lot of the time, clear the clutter out of your work area first. The second room that you want to deal with, in order to get the rest factor in place, is your bedroom. Okay, now it's all got to be done, but the reason I target that, picture your house, or your house, your office. Let's stick with the house because that's where you're living. Okay, picture the house as a physical body. Your office area where you're working on your finances, on your project list, that is the brain. Okay, it is where everything gets organized. If it is cluttered, as you know, if your brain isn't working well, you're not going to be able to accomplish much. Okay, now then we look at the bedroom is where you get your rest. Okay, but the heart of your house is it's a 3-chamber heart. Okay. Just a side note, Storm. Because I'm looking at both streams right now. Oh, fantastic. I'm glad to hear that, LA. Yeah, and there's the proof in the pudding. LA goes, Kiddo corralled me earlier, telling me how much better he felt today. Yesterday, he finally got his room organized and cleaned up. He told me he was really surprised by it. This is why I say that is proof positive right there. Okay, that you don't take my word for it. If your room isn't cluttered, okay, if it is cluttered, get the clutter out of it and just see what happens. Now, Storm, I was about to tell you something. I'm looking at the stream on YouTube, okay, and it's got all the entries, but nothing is being transferred into the live stream programming here that we link through. Just so you're aware, in case you aren't already. But
Hey, Keith.
Yeah.
You're talking about the chat?
Yeah.
Okay. On your screen, you're looking at the blue screen for Restream, right?
Yes.
All the way over on the right-hand side, if you go down to the bottom of that row of buttons, there's one called Chat.
Jumping. I gotta get close to the screen. There is when that says Restream. It ends where it says messages from the audience will be displayed here. That's the last thing that got entered. But that's okay. I'll work on that with you later.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. Yeah, because it should be
flowing there. Well, I put it up on the screen itself. Of course, I can't read that anyway, so this works fine.
Okay.
Yeah, so the fact that with me being hardwired in, I can run both streams. Everything else is shut down. But I can run both monitors and be able to see what's written. What do we got here? Robert goes, wheelchair versus cluttered room. No movement. Yeah, I find the same thing. And I've been fighting with my youngest son. Of course, my youngest son is 19, so he's got lots of room to work. Same problem though. Get the floor cleared. And I have yet to figure out how to motivate him. And I'm not about to evict him. Primarily because, well, number one, it's my kid. I'm not about to do that. And the way I look at it is this. He's got mild CP to start with. He doesn't need the added stress. Yeah, no doubt, Renee. Renee's just going, I feel the change in the energy in the room if it's physically cleared and organized. And everybody I talk to that gets that done tells me the same thing. Okay. Now, these are neat little receipts that have to be sorted. They will be done after stream. But, and like I said, I've got the 3 drawers. The 4th drawer, by the way, has all the excess, all the old files that I've got to dispose of or got to sort through. The other 3 drawers are completely organized. Okay, and what did I do with it? Oh, it's in the other bin. So, again, organization will get your brain working. Now, I say will because I've not seen a situation where it doesn't. And bear in mind, I've got well over 100,000 clients that I've dealt with and handed these tools to. Never have I heard somebody say, I cleared my room and I still don't think any better. I've never run into a single person that's told me that. Staggering number that have done as LA reported that I got the room cleared and now I feel better. Okay. Thousands upon thousands of people I've done that with. Okay. And one of the biggest things that we have to look at is when we're working with the list. Okay. And what did I do with? Oh, put it back up over here. It's a neat thing when you get organized and don't realize you did. You know, all of a sudden you got things working right. And you're sitting there going, but wait, I got it organized. Why is it not adding up? Because you're reminding yourself of a new skill. Okay, it's that simple. Now, yes, I'm making the additions to the list while I go or sorting it out, depending. Now, when I talk about putting this list together to organize your head, it literally boils down to every task you got. If you write one down and you know it's likely to take longer than half an hour, break it into smaller parts. Keep the projects down to 15 minutes to a half hour in length. By doing that, you will be able to see progress through the day. Now, I got a whole bunch that was already done. Now I can start moving on the right direction. Now, where do we go once we get the organizing started? Well, organization is never done. Now, I don't know about you guys, okay, but when I was growing up, you know, I've got a coffee cup here, just for instance. When I was growing up, coffee's in my room, right? Because I'm at the desk. When I go up front, take the coffee cup with you, put it in the sink. Okay, whether you wash it right away or not, I find that personally a little bit wasteful. And, you know, I agree with you, LA. I just can't see you evicting anybody unless they do something really, really, really stupid. Okay. It's like me. When my eldest asked to move home, I rearranged everything. I had my office all in one room. I've got my office in my bedroom. And for the next 2 years at least, it's going to stay here. Okay. But I told my son, you want to move home? No problem. Right? So that's what we're working with. But the other thing that we have to look at, they're old tools in a lot of ways that many people in today's world don't get. Okay? Like, I mean, I really got to say thank you to you, Farage, for helping me get the lighting straight. Because this means I just leave the lights off when I'm running this. I'll use the lights at night if I have to. But the less electricity used, LA goes, it'd have to be he was raising skunks or chickens in there. Well, I don't know, yo, the chickens, at least the chickens, you can eat the eggs. Okay, but you are absolutely right. It is a disaster. I mean, just a real sidetrack. My dad, when he was in grade 8, he lived in a community where the schoolyard handled from kindergarten to grade 12. Okay, and he turned around, got to school one day, and everybody's outside the schoolhouse. Well, he looks at the teacher and goes, "What's going on, teach?" Teacher told him, there was a skunk in the schoolroom. So my dad did the only thing that made sense. You'll love what he pulled off. My dad grew up in the bush, so he walks into the schoolhouse, comes back out. He's holding the skunk up by its tail. Now, if you know anything about skunks, a skunk cannot spray you if it's being suspended, the hind legs are off the ground. So Dad's walking out, comes out to the teacher, hands the teacher the skunk by the tail, turns around and walks into the class. The teacher was mad. And guess why the teacher was mad? It solved the problem. But my dad got home, the teacher was livid. Dad got a beating for it. But Dad solved the problem. The reality of it was, when the teacher put the skunk down, the skunk immediately sprayed him. I think it was him. But when you're looking at the clutter in your room, the area you've got control over, that's the first thing you target. Okay? Now, it is imperative the whole house gets done. But it doesn't all have to get done in one day. Okay, it literally boils down to an issue. Gee, there's that bonus I wasn't expecting. This particular streamline actually shows the volume level over on the left there. So I can see whether or not my mic is actually working. But as you get the energy running properly, you will find not only do things pick up pace, you get a lot more accomplished, you get a lot more dealt with. Okay, now, I don't know about you, but let me ask you this. Somehow that's not going to happen. It's going to work well. I was about to say, let's see a show of hands of who likes the way their life is running right now. As in, is it running as well as you would like? Now, the neat part about organizing the way your brain is working and the way the energy flows, you will find, and the reason I say you will, not you may, is that as you get the clutter out of the way, you will be able to see the minor things. You get the major things moved, the minor ones will be revealed. Okay? If you think about it, if I take this, okay, it's blocking certain things. But this is my charity box, and thanks again. This only put in orbit. It goes up there, and now I can see what was beneath it. And there we go. LA's looking at it going, I desire mine to change. And the reality of it is, that is within your power. Now, we can point the finger at anybody we choose. Lots of people go, the government's causing this. The elites are causing this. I'm having financial troubles because the prices keep getting raised. Okay. I unfortunately found out today that the restaurant I've been going to, honestly, way too often, okay, I won't be going back. Because I just found out they closed the doors for a week to renovate. Okay. And then in the process of renovating, by the way, aside from bringing in a carpet cleaner, they didn't change anything unless they did it in the kitchen. Okay, but what they did do was they released all of their prior staff, at least all the front end. I don't know about the back end. Now, if a company is not going to protect the staff, I'm not about to deal with it personally. And no, I'm not about, as some of you, I may have told you which restaurant it was before. I'm not reiterating it now. Okay. From what I gather, they closed the door to renovate. And what they renovated was their staff. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, that's a reason not to go there anymore. Because they just wiped out everything that was there. You know, I was there today, and I found out even the regulars no longer have the bounce they used to. You know, to me, this is an absolute fail. So, it does me a favor in a lot of ways. It means I won't go there and spend a whole pile of money anymore. Not my problem. Actually, it'll help me. But, again, we get the major clutter out of the way, and all of a sudden, we've got a way to make things change. What is this? That is... Oh. That's the notes from yesterday, so I gotta keep those. And that's those two. Now, one of the other things we look at, okay, is once your life starts moving, once you get the clutter out of the way and you start seeing the little things, it's the little ones that are, I thought that because of another term for little ones. It's the little discrepancies that actually clutter everything. Once you let one piece of stuff get out of alignment, it starts adding up. Okay. And again, you'll notice I do that a lot. I've got my pen on my desk. And now I've got my cup for pens up here. This one dates back a little. I used to have a set of 3 of these from when I was a kid. But I keep that there. Now when I've got a loose pen, I just put it up there. I can grab another one easy enough. But it does mean that I can keep on top of things. Now, these 3 books, okay, Believe in Yourself. That's got the backbone of how I changed my self-esteem around. Believe in Your Business. This is the backbone of what I'm doing to literally take my company, Inner Voice Enterprises, and turn it into a going concern. And with your guys' help, I am absolutely certain that I'm going to be able to pull it off. This is Believe in Your Finances. This is the backbone of the tools that I use to track where my money's going. Believe in your organization and follow your dreams. Yeah, I am aiming for literally, I should have it done within the week. At the worst, we are in September. Let's give me a little bit of room. Okay, let's give myself a little room. And what I'm doing there is I'm going to complete it and have it ready for print before the end of September. There's not that much left to do. Okay, I've already got the backbone done. And by the way, Joe, the other book like I said, I started putting together, probably going to be a month or 2 before I get it completed, will be what I hate when I pull blanks. Meet the Talon. I'm going through all these T's I know of, and I'm going like, wait, where did it go? Anyway, that one I will have out by the end of October. And yeah, I will keep you guys posted as it goes along. I just finally, after 2 years of sitting on it, because I started getting my room cleared and my office area, I finally, after 2 years of stagnation, I'm into writing the last couple of chapters of Return to Paradise. This is a direct side. This is a direct side effect of getting the energy moving. Okay, of communicating, especially with yourself, but with others as well. Now, this is the one thing that this stream does for me. I've been asking myself for months, what am I accomplishing? Now, I know I've heard from you guys, from many of you, don't kill the stream because it is helping. Okay. And I kept running it through my head. Okay, that's great. I'm going to keep doing it. I said I would. But I was constantly looking for how is it help? What is it doing to help me organize? Ironically, this is a threefold program. Okay. For me, this stream literally is keeping me on top of getting things organized. Because in a way, I tell you this is what I'm doing. And I am more committed to it, if you will, or more responsible. And it's an internal thing for me. I said I'm going to do it. And like I've always told you, if I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do my level best to make it happen. Now I'm going to bounce backwards here for a second. Okay. And I'm going to tell you, any of the charities that you're donating to, double check. Come right out and ask them how much of every dollar goes to the actual charity. Okay. Now, I've looked into a lot of them. On air, I'm not about to tell you. Okay. Absolutely, Ellie. Ellie goes, it keeps you accountable. And it helps us commit to accountability. And this is the key to change. Talking about, go do this. If I'm not doing it, I'm telling you, do as I say, not as I do. Okay? And I'll tell you that doesn't work well. But check with the charities you're donating to. Ask them directly how much of each dollar actually goes to the charity. You will be, I would surmise, appalled at what you find out. Okay? You will be absolutely appalled at what you find out. Now, here's something I'm considering. As a matter of fact, why don't I do that? Consideration. I'm considering this, and I'll put it off until Heck Freeze is over. What I found, the best charity I came across, and I don't honestly recall the name, took 30 cents of every dollar and put it into the charity. Everything else went to their administration costs, went to paying their employees. Not a prayer is that going to happen. Not in my book. Now, bring down this little thing. This is an idea that I've thought about before. Okay, what I'm actually doing here is finding out how much I've actually got. Now, did that, and we go scratch marker here. These tiny little sticky notes are really wonderful things. Now, this is a commitment I made to myself because I don't like the way charities are done, where they take the administration costs out of your donation. Don't take my word for it. Check every one of the ones you donate to. Okay. Now, the way I do it is this. And I'm going to put it to you this way, and you can do with it what you will. When I add money to my charity box, okay, I now know my charity box has $29 where I can go down, I can buy somebody a coffee, I can buy somebody groceries, whatever. Okay. Any donations that people decide to send to me, if you're just sending something to help me out, great. If you want it to go into the charity, absolutely earmark it. Let me know, and I will give you my word. If it comes in and it says, I got $50 for this charity, absolutely, it'll go into the box. Okay. None of it, 0%, will go towards my administration costs. If it is tagged for charity, that's where it's going to go. But like I said, I will not donate to any of the charities I've looked into, because all of them, the worst one I heard of that I stumbled across, I was researching, 1 penny of every dollar went to the actual charity. 1 penny. The other 99 went to their pocket. Okay. I'm not putting any money from the charity into my pocket. Now, I have no idea how to set it up, and here's the kicker. I'm not going to the tax accountant to find out how much money, what kind of tax break I can get by donating to a charity. That is not charity. Not in my eyes. People can do with it what they will. Okay. But in this way, I'll be able to go, there's what I've done with it. Okay. Oh, well, that didn't work all that well. Leave that there. I'll have to set it up on another file. But I do know in that box I've got $29. If I decide to buy somebody something, it will literally be out of that money. It will not go to my administration. Again, this boils down to organizing things. But because I'm not looking for a tax break, what I spend it on doesn't matter to the government. Okay, from your guys' standpoint, especially the moment I get anything somebody adds to it, okay, what I won't do is when it comes in and go to the charity, I am handling the designation as to where it goes, whether it's a food bank, a pet shop, that sort of thing. Nope, that actually doesn't work well. Okay, now obviously I'm going to be working local with it. Just like everything else I do. I do work local for the time being because that's where it is. Now, I will tell you, the reason I will donate to a food bank or to a shelter with food is because whether or not the person that gets it really required it or not, it's still food. It's still something every one of us needs. Every one of us requires. The junk that I'm getting rid of, that I don't desire to go and bother trying to sell. Okay, maybe that's a little short-sighted. I will put this to you, though. Over here, I have 3 boxes. Yeah, you can't see that. I've got 3 full-size tomato boxes here. I think I got a 4th one. Used to. I've got 3 full-size tomato boxes here full of collector comics. Those I am looking for a collector for. Okay, one of the projects I've got to get to is cataloging those. So if somebody says, do you have this? I can say yes or no. Okay, those I'm looking for a collector for. But that's because they are collector items. By committing to yourself that you're changing the way your world is looking, okay, what's going to happen is your life is going to get better. Think of it this way. If you're not happy with something and you alter it even just a little, you alter it just a fraction, what you end up with is you're removing the negative from your life and setting it up to have things that help you feel better. Okay, now, I'm just going to stand up and walk over here. See, I got to go through all these boxes, all these drawers here, get them organized properly. The filing cabinet now is done, and I've just set things in motion to clear all this off. Again, it boils down to a simple issue. I made the decision, if I'm going to make my life work and do what I feel is necessary, the big mistake I've made in the past is telling people this is what you're looking for, this is what is required, and not necessarily doing it myself, but much more importantly, not getting you guys to actually put the effort in. Now, many of you are doing it, okay, and this is why I'm checking back. Because as you get things straightened out, it's not only going to affect your world, and we'll get to the real impact. Tomorrow we will be dealing with, what is tomorrow? Tomorrow we're dealing with I gotta work that through again. Oh, tomorrow we're going to be dealing with the impact on society itself. Okay, and how changing the energy in your house is going to affect your neighbors. But for the moment, we're going to keep it in the house. Okay, by getting your house more organized, here's an obvious side effect. I started organizing mine. My eldest son is all of a sudden organizing his rooms. Okay, and again, don't take my word for it. Start with your own. You start with the brain. Then you take care of the rest area. Because even if you're working solidly, you're going to need downtime. Okay? It is absolutely imperative. Then we go to the three-chamber heart. Okay? Now the three-chamber heart is your kitchen, your living room, and your dining room. Okay? That is the three-chamber heart of your home. Get that cleared out, and your heart will run smoother. You will have more energy. You will not be fighting depression as much or fighting procrastination, which I was reading up on it today. And apparently, procrastination is a mild sign of depression. Okay? In other words, maybe you're putting things off because you just can't see the point in doing it. Tell you, it does not accomplish anything in a hurry. Now, again, I get a kick out of it because I don't know if you noticed. Okay, my hands were both born that way. But after my stroke, this one separated. But you notice it pops back together. Or it's starting to pop back together and stay put. This tells me my system is rewriting itself from a physical standpoint. Now, it may not seem like much to you guys, but it started happening when I started getting the clutter out of my office. Okay, and it's happening more and more frequently. Okay, up until then, the fingers were separating, and it was. I know that sounds like a weird thing to call a sign of healing, but for me, it works like a charm. The more freely the energy runs in your house, the more energy you've got, the more stable your emotions will be, the more focused your logic will be. Ultimately, you will accomplish a lot more. Now, a list works beautifully to help. But the fact of the matter is, if you get carried away with the list, you've got a problem. Okay, because you can get caught up in a list itself that is too cumbersome. Now, I don't have 3 things on the list right now, which is why I'm adding them now at this point. Well, I put 2 of them there. Again, I do this because it comes to mind. I go, this has to be dealt with. Now, once you've got the heart of that 3-chamber heart worked out, okay, and I'm talking about removing the clutter. I am not talking about a top to bottom cleaning. Okay, that comes after the clutter is gone. Okay. And the reason we're doing that is one step at a time. You cannot do it all in one shot. I know if I try getting rid of all my clutter and cleaning my house top to bottom, as in wash the walls, vacuum the floor, all of that, I'm looking at months of work. It took me a week to get my file drawer sorted out. I'm off. But what ends up happening is the more you get cluttered, the faster your energy will run. You ever wonder why maybe you don't have the energy you had when you were younger? Well, the odds are, okay, and some of you don't fit this, but the odds are your parents were there to say, get the room clean. Get the clutter up and moved. Put the stuff away. Okay, this is a simple setup. Now, I've got a list around here somewhere that I will be adding to Positive Perspectives, to the magazine. And yes, I'm starting to call it that. That is the other thing I will put on third list. There we go. What I've just done is I've got 3 things on my list. When I get one done, I will check it off. But it helps keep things organized. Okay. And that way, the energy runs smoother. You will feel a lot more driven because as the clutter gets out of the way, it's going to create a cascade shift. Think of when a dam starts to leak and the water starts coming through the dam a little bit at a time. And slowly but surely, it makes a bigger hole. And slowly but surely, the energy of the water or the energy starts flowing more freely. Okay. In fairness, just saying, dealing with clutter is always ongoing, never complete. The funny thing there is writing is the same way. If you're a writer, if you're an author, if you're an artist, the way I heard it put is an artist and a writer never finish. They simply stop writing or they stop drawing. Okay. Music is a slightly different thing where it usually has an outcome you're looking for. There's usually a definitive message. Now, when you've got books, yes, you can always improve. Hence why I've got second edition coming out. Okay, but as you get the clutter moved, the energy flow will increase. Net result, you'll feel more driven to get things done. And I'll tell you, it's kind of like an addiction in a way. Oh, I feel a little better because I got that cleared up. Now I got to move to the other part of my house. Okay, now we've already gotten to the 3-chamber heart. Now we get to garbage disposal. Garbage disposal is in 1 or possibly 2 areas. Your bathroom and possibly your laundry room. Maybe they're the same area. Okay. Might be a 3rd area if you've got an area for garbage. Okay, aside from just the garbage can. Okay. But the garbage areas, get the clutter out of them. Again, you get rid of the waste disposal, and you'll find you are no longer living in toxic atmosphere. Okay. Now, we have the other area that most people seem to forget about. And I'm telling you, I should have started here because it works like a charm. Every hallway you got, every connecting hallway, okay, get the clutter out of them. The hallways are the arteries between the rooms in your house. Okay, these are the things, and yes, now we start adding to the list. What I'm doing here is just in positive perspectives, and I may put it on social media. I don't know yet, but I will certainly be adding it to October's outlay. The description of the body content of your house. Okay, and again, the magazine is 100% free. All I require is an email address. Okay, but by doing this, it will help keep you organized if you utilize the tools. Because I will tell you, the best tools in the planet are absolutely useless if you don't pick them up. Gee, I wonder if that's what that is. Yeah, that is. I'll have to dig that out at some point. But yeah, Ferret's going. I know someone who makes her list on fancy paper and a manual typewriter. I still have a manual typewriter. Unfortunately, I think the ink ran out, and I don't know if there's anywhere I can get ink for it. It's sort of one of those things that wouldn't be a bad idea, but with the way my hands work, I couldn't use it properly anyway. But I literally have a portable Corona typewriter. Okay. You know, the neat part with typing, when my mom was going to school using those one-arm bandits, okay, she typed with 10 fingers. She would type, now I, at my best, would hit somewhere between 60 and 80. Okay. My mom typed consistently at 80 words a minute. Oh, wild. Maybe I can. Ferris just telling me that apparently they're back in style. Here's the neat thing. So are the record players, as in your vinyl. Okay. My mom went to school with a girl that typed at 120 words a minute on an old typewriter, on the one-arm bandit. Right? But here's the real kicker. This friend of my mom's typed, she only physically had one hand. Her left hand was a stump at the wrist. Okay, but with only one hand, she typed at 120. Now, I take inspiration from that. Okay, and the thing I found with technology, and this is why I don't rely on it, except for with this. Okay, technology has advanced to the point of being almost useless. Okay, when we've got people, and people can say what they will about AI. Okay, my problem with AI is this: you're not typing, like you're not doing the work yourself. You're not using this. When I do my editing, okay, I use my brain and the input of my editors. Okay, when I'm making changes to the stream, I use my brain and, quite frankly, Storm's. Okay, because Storm's the one that can make it happen. The fact I can actually get the camera looking at me, I figure I'm ahead of the game. LA, that's a great idea. LA goes, if you want to Google it, I just found a dozen different kinds. Here's the thing. I can try and Google a local menu and can't find it. But we are talking me and technology. Okay. When my computer seized yesterday, my youngest son had to figure out how, because this was the only computer that seized. We've got 4 others in the house, and plus a PlayStation and 3 cell phones. It was only this computer. Now, you get to figure out why, or somebody else can. Okay, Google is a wonderful tool, don't get me wrong. I'm not against technology, but I am in favor of doing it yourself. Now, of course, trying to find things Yeah, they'll have typewriter ribbons. I will look for it. I just got to dig it out. It's behind a whole pile of scrap paper. But that scrap paper is going to be moved after I get the shelf built. Because I will tell you, this thing is definitively an antique. As in, my mother used it in school. Okay, so we're talking about using it back in the 40s. But the thing with getting your life organized is every time you spot something you're not content with, make a change. The moment you do that, you'll start the energy flowing a little bit more smoothly. No, that's not going to happen. Actually, I have thought about turning it over. If I ever get around to it, I'll turn it over to a museum. But turning it over to a secondhand dealer doesn't make sense. Other than it gets it out of my house. But again, when you're getting rid of clutter, okay, whether it's going to the garbage, and I don't mean the landfill unless it's actual garbage, recycling, or a secondhand shop, okay, or to neighbors that need it, I will tell you, get it out of your house. Oh, LA's just going, yes, ribbons of that sort I've found. Now that's kind of amazing from my end, but it's not really a shock that you guys can find it. All I know for certain is it is an old it's a 2-disc ribbon. Okay, what was it now? The 8mm, no, 16mm, I think it was that I had. The 16mm film camera projector. There we go. I turned that over to my brother because he had a few other things with it. But the more clutter you get out of your way, the more organized your home is, the better off you're going to feel. And the more energy you're going to find you have. Now, here's the other kicker. As your energy level climbs, you're going to start to heal. Those of you that are struggling with this idea of, I weigh too much, I've got to drop weight, and diets aren't working. Diets aren't designed to work. Okay? And the reason I say that is because most of the diets I've looked at literally rely on deprivation. I'm going to avoid eating this, or I'm going to avoid drinking that. Okay, and that's a problem. Okay, because the moment you start denying your body, sometimes your body's going to crave it. Okay, for me, I've had to make some adjustments to get my life in order, to get my health in order. But that's not to drop the weight. I did the silliest thing possible according to the doctors. When I decided I was weighing too much, I didn't put as many calories into my body as what I was burning. Okay, I moved, and I got up and moved a little more often. Now, because of that, I am down over the last 2 years. I am down 60 pounds. Yeah, Renee's going, I gave away an old printer. That is how it was written. The man was very happy to get it. And now I have more space. Win-win. Exactly. You take the clutter. I've got an old hassock in my house that is nothing but in the way. Problem is, I can't move it on my own. Which means tomorrow, where's my list? Because this will just get carried over until tomorrow. what I'm just writing down here is I've got a guy coming over tomorrow that has a truck. And I'm going to talk to him directly about taking the hassock I just mentioned and getting it out of my house. Okay? Because it's in the way. It's not a question of it could be used elsewhere. It's in my way. So, like you said, Renee, get it out of the house. I get more room. Okay? In this case, I get a lot more room. One of the things you have to remember is hanging on to stuff is great from the things I recommend you maintain a stock of. If you decorate for holidays, keep the holiday decorations. Hang on to them. You only use them once a year, but you use them. If you, for instance, Christmas and Halloween are the two I keep stuff around for. Halloween, not so much. But Christmas, I definitely do. And this year, start on the 1st of December, I will start decorating my house. Okay? Because from December 1st to 31st, I do celebrate Christmas. This does not mean you have to. I did, however, and if you want to ask me in private, absolutely do. I spent a lot of time talking to a Jewish individual one day and proved to her that Jewish people celebrate Christmas. I'm not going to explain that here. If you desire to know how that works, drop me a line. I'll be more than happy to do so. Okay, but I do celebrate Christmas. So, December 1st, I will start decorating to my liking. Okay, and through December, I will leave it there. Okay, which reminds me, I've got to get a stock of apple juice. But again, it boils down to going, what am I not content with? Now, I've mentioned a number of times, here's a test for you. Does anybody recall what the one thing about my physical life is that I'm not content with? Okay, aside from the clutter. Remove the clutter. What is the one thing that I mentioned that I am not personally content with? And the clue is, like I said, it has to do with health. I will have to break those down. Again, now I've got my hard copy calendar here. Did I write that down? Oh, okay. Thank you very much there, LA. No, in all fairness, my mortality, I have a goal with mortality there, Philip. I am still aiming to see the 22nd century. As in, well, we're in 23 now. I'm talking 77 years down the road. Okay, all of these are things on my list. The one I'm referring to, okay, I mean, Joe, where are we here? Renee said more storage space for food. That I've just accomplished. I picked up a shelf today, and the first thing I'm doing when I get off the stream is assembling the shelf. That shelf will give me the added room I need for food storage, plus it will separate the living room and turn the dining room into a full gaming area. We don't use the dining room table 24/7. But gaming, we're doing 3 days a week now. What was it? But the thing I am aiming at is getting my sleep into a solid 4 or 5 hours so I don't pass out during the day. Okay? Because this idea of getting up for 2 hours, being up for 4, and going back to sleep for 2 doesn't work for me. Oh, there we go. I'm going like I forgot what I was writing. I tell you, sometimes my memory is absolutely shockingly pathetic. Where are we? There we go. Now, like I said, with the layout of positive perceptions here, I'm laying it out week by week. If I decide that there's a topic we want and that we desire to work with, I can just shunt things. But for the moment, things are running smooth enough. So I've got a fair chunk organized here. And the thing is, and you'll find the same thing. If you find your energy level starts to collapse, one thing you will find is the more the clutter is gone, the more organized you are, the more consistent your energy level is going to run. Okay, now this to me is an absolute bonus. Yeah, Joe goes, I don't celebrate Christmas with parents at all anymore. You know, the thing is, here's the thing for me where it comes to Christmas, Joe. You know, in all fairness, I don't celebrate Christmas with my parents either. Of course, I've got a viable reason. My parents are both dead. Okay. I still see them a lot. And lately I've been talking to them a lot more. Okay. One of the advantages and potentially disadvantages of being an active medium. Okay. But I am starting to put things into play. When it comes to Christmas, for me, it's not for the kids. It's not for the other people, for anybody else. I'm going to be decorating and keeping the hot apple cider running for me. Okay. You know, this whole karmic thing. Energy out, energy in. Okay. I do what makes me feel better. By doing that, as long as it's not hurting somebody else, it will help other people. Okay. And this is why I encourage you to really look at that. Now, whether you celebrate Christmas or don't, doesn't matter from my end. That's your personal choice. Just like I will quite readily tell you, in my eyes, yes, I'm Christian. I believe in God. I believe in Christ. This does not mean I go to church. Okay, as a matter of fact, I'll tell you flat out, I haven't been in church in once back in the mid 80s. I was there once. Okay, other than that, I haven't been in church at all on a regular basis since 1977. Okay, and I'm not planning on it anytime soon. Now, LA goes, I celebrate winter holidays. And she goes, you know, love them and decorating will happen more this year. This is what I'm referring to. The neat part about it is what name it's used is irrelevant. You can call it Peanut Butter Sandwich Day. Yeah, Joe goes, the holidays wasn't what they used to be when I was young. But nowadays I will still believe in God my best. Yeah, here's the thing. Holidays, let's and this is why I said we're rebuilding from the ground up. Joe, this is literally directly to you and to other people in your boat. Okay? Absolutely. The world today is not what it was before. Okay? It used to be an issue of people work together. Now they don't. Okay? But I'm going to suggest to every one of you, because I've seen this around the world. I wasn't actually going to go here today, but this is where we're going. Okay. I strongly encourage you to realize that around Christmas now, so many people tell me they don't believe in the Christmas spirit. They don't celebrate Christmas. They don't believe in Santa. And yet, globally, check the facts yourself. Globally, people seem to try to be a little nicer to each other. Okay, around Christmas. I don't profess to know exactly why, but I do know it happens. Now, I'm just looking here. Philip goes, it's September now, so I've already had a dream with Halloween pumpkins. Now, here's one for you guys that have chickens. I only just saw this, and it's tied directly to Halloween decorating. Take a pumpkin. Okay, just take a pumpkin. Punch little tiny holes. Okay, and when I say little tiny holes, I mean literally take a skewer, take a screwdriver and poke little holes, one beside each other. Okay, this is just a weird setup. I need this. One of the advantages is actually getting things organized. I grab this neat little pen. Here's a neat little. This is a Halloween carving cheat, if you will. It's absolutely brilliant. Okay, and I saw this just today, on a short film on Facebook. You take your pumpkin. Should draw that bigger, but pardon the artwork, it bites. Just simply take a screwdriver, okay, preferably a Phillips, okay, and you just punch 6 holes in it, just 6, okay, punch them clean in, just like this, okay. If you've got chickens, if you're a farmer and you've got chickens, take a pumpkin, punch 6 holes in it, okay, and set it outside with the chickens. They will carve your chicken for you. They will try and carve your chicken. They will carve your pumpkin for you. Now, what do we got here? LA, you and I are in the same boat. I absolutely do not eat pumpkin pie. I don't eat pumpkin spice. I'm not worried about. Pumpkin pie, I don't eat. Now, pumpkin flavored cookies, I don't have a problem with. But it's textured pumpkin pie I can't tolerate. Or at least I don't. Now, where are we here? Phil's just saying Kirk is German for church. Have you watched much original Star Trek regularly? With Captain Kirk. Kind of like going to church. You know, that's weird there, Philip, but I like it. I don't know if it's like going to church, but I used to watch Star Trek all the time. Okay. And for me, it was great. Personally, I related to Spock better than I related to the rest of them. Where are we? Right there. Yeah, in all fairness, I don't drink eggnog either. My youngest son loves the stuff. So as soon as it comes available near Christmas, I make sure to keep it in stock. But that's for him. And my eldest if he desires it. I don't touch the stuff other than to buy it. Storm goes, Scotty was my inspiration into the wide world of tech. You know, the funny thing with Scotty, and I'm sure you're aware of this, Storm, Scotty, aka James Doohan, number 1 was Canadian, and number 2, he decided on the Scottish accent. He didn't actually have one, although he did end up developing one after so many years playing it. You know, this is where we go way back to the nostalgia period. But, I mean, the thing that I always found LA goes, I'm fond of the stuff spiked with Southern Comfort. Now, why pollute the Southern Comfort? Okay, that sounds really bad. I mean, I spike a glass with Southern Comfort and then drink the glass and drink the contents. Oops. Not to worry, LA. Just talk to Storm. I'm sure he can relate to this. I used to take my halo off and use it for a frisbee. Yeah, I mean, he did, and I love the creative way that he did things. Mind you, I found I related to I could see where a lot of those people came together. The fact of the matter is, in my opinion, Gene Roddenberry was a visionary. We're living, short of traveling through space for years at a time, we're living in the beginning of the world he designed, that he foresaw and portrayed. I don't blame you there, Storm. I'll tell you, you want to be really nasty, but be careful if you do this. Sharpen the inside of it as well. I saw that on Beyond Thunderdome. That was kind of a wonderful one. I didn't actually see that one, Joe, but Mickey Rourke was an interesting actor. Have you ever noticed, I'm talking about going sideways, I don't know if this is called organization, but looking to the past to remember the good times is a good thing. Okay, but if you notice with the modern movies, they're doing rehashes, they're doing rewrites, but I'm not seeing much in the way of an original thinking, even an original take on things. Okay, I watched one the other day that was absolutely brilliant. I watched a live action version of Beauty and the Beast where they added a chunk to Beauty and the Beast in the middle of it without detracting from the story. Okay, I actually found it on YouTube where it was absolutely brilliantly done. If you like fairy tales, okay. Yeah, LA goes, I like games. I have no problem with games. I have a massive problem with people that think that pranking people is a good thing. I have never seen a prank that was good. Okay, I really haven't. Because if a prank hurts somebody or embarrasses somebody or whatever, this is not a good prank. And again, it comes back to those 3 laws I follow. Okay, be true to yourself first. This is why I'm talking about getting things organized. And tomorrow, we're going to be looking at how organizing your life is going to directly impact on the way you organize, the way the community around you is organized, and civilization on the whole. Okay, but you be true to yourself first. You do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. Energy out, energy in. Treat people the way you desire to be treated. As I told my kids, when I was growing up, my parents taught me to shut my senses down. I failed in that lesson. Okay, I'm not about to tell my son, don't use his higher senses. Okay, because I was denied that guidance and it didn't work out well. Okay, but what we are looking at this point, what we are looking at this time is literally, how do you bring the joy from yesteryear into today? Okay, and that boils down to look to when you were a child. Okay, look back to what made your eyes sparkle. I will tell you this: every single one of you is still a child. You're still a child at heart. You may not believe it, but you still are. Okay, and the way we know you're still a child is every one of you, even if you're a vat job, as in a test tube baby, every one of you has a mother and a father. This means you're a child. Okay? Do not let the wrinkled face in the mirror tell you that you're old or too old to enjoy yourself. Okay? Now understand, this is coming from somebody who hides from the world. Okay? And my one access to a restaurant that I was comfortable with died today. After what I found they were doing, it absolutely fell apart. Which means I will be in this house, which is actually not a bad thing entirely. It will stop me from spending way too much money. But every one of you. Oh, there we go. Joe Stewart, the movie we were talking about, the one done by Mickey Rourke. Yeah, 80s. Yeah, there we go. It's a prayer for the dying. Thank you so much there, Joe. I really appreciate it. I may or may not get to it. It depends. Yeah, see, I don't actually buy audiobooks, but then I'm usually sitting in front of my computer. So I work on the one monitor and I've got a movie running here, or I've got music running. When I get up first thing in the morning, I fire up YouTube. I've got a selection of movies or of songs I've got. I've literally got them because they're upbeat, because they get the adrenaline going. Makes it so much easier. Yeah, LA goes, I found that lately things are falling by the wayside that are no longer necessary. Whether by accident or design, I have no idea. Here's the problem. I mean, I agree with you. I do see it happening. The biggest thing that I have seen falling by the wayside is common sense, humanitarianism, okay, and general goodwill. That seems to be falling by the wayside so fast, it's absolutely insane. Okay. That's what I'm starting to look for, Renee. I will go looking for one because I know if I lock myself in my house, this will become my only outside access. Well, that and my connection to my other half. So I know I can't do that all for too long. But for the next little while, it's certainly not going to be a bad idea. It'll save me probably a few $100s anyway. And maybe, just maybe, I'll get bored enough to really put some effort into cooking, into figuring out how to cook in the first place. One of the things that I'm going to reiterate now, as in right this moment, while we're still on the air, because we only got a few minutes left, while we're still on the air, if you haven't done it already, take a sheet of paper, an electronic notebook, whatever. Get 3 things onto it that you can actually get and that you can actually work on. while I've been here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoop. Right now, I've got 7 more things to work on. Whoop, 8. I've got 8 things on my list to work on for tonight. One of which will actually be carried through till tomorrow anyway. Okay, but I'm telling you, if you haven't put the list method to work, start. Where are we here? See, from my standpoint, I would love to find a word. We're talking about the term queer and the term LGBT. I'm telling you, I'd love to find a word, if I wanted to break them off at all, that actually made sense. Okay, because I'm still very old school. To me, gay means you're happy. Okay, and I think everybody should be. Queer means you're different. Okay, and I got no problem with people being different. The problem I have is when you take a look and found out why little people don't like the term midget. They don't tend to have as much trouble with the word dwarf, but they have a very big problem on the whole with the word midget, because the word midget was used in the sideshows. Destiny Rocks, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Yeah, I never noticed that. Yesterday we were at 6:31. We are at 6:33 now. And with your guys' help, okay, and I'll absolutely ask you for it. With your help, let's push to break 700, to break 650 now. And that simply boils down to letting people know we're here. It is time for us to really take the bull by the horns and start organizing society in spite of itself. Now, tomorrow, we're going to be discussing how you organizing your house is going to affect the community around you. Whoa, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Oh, well, absolutely, woo. You all the best to you, and hopefully things come back into play properly. Sometimes taking a break from electronics is really, really good. Okay, I know my son just shut down half of his stuff on FaceTime. Absolutely, Will. I will definitely keep doing that. But thank you for the encouragement. I really appreciate the time you spend here. Hopefully things get on the track that you desire them to be. But again, keep moving forward. One of the big things that I've always found, scratch the word always, often found, is when people finally get a direction in life, they are more content. Okay? When you're going down a path and all of a sudden you get really disheartened because of something, it can throw you for a loop. Okay? Absolutely, it threw me for a loop today. But I am doing my best. My other half worries about the fact that I can get into some pretty black moments. But again, the more organized your mind is, the more organized your home is, the better off things are going to be. The neat part, I'm just looking at what Philip was adding in here. And again, guys, I've seen people come into this room going, there's so much cross chatter, this is just trolling. No, in here, this is encouraged. It's called weird communication. Something that really has gone the way of the dodo bird in many people's eyes. Okay, the fact of the matter is, we absolutely have to, in spite of what we're being taught by the mainstream media, by the governments, by the so-called moguls, we are being taught to live in fear, to live in jealousy, to live in hatred. Okay, it's time to change that. Now, yes, I am looking at changing my wardrobe. As you can tell, I'm not really that concerned about it. Oh, and look at that. Now, I just noticed something here. We are down under the 5 point. And I'm pretty certain I was about to get that note anyway. But with that in mind, I want to say thank you so much, guys, guys, gals, people, you name it. Thanks so much for sharing your time with us tonight. Really appreciate it. Okay, really do appreciate your help, your encouragement. I will be back again tomorrow. Tomorrow, 4:30 to 6:30 p.m., we discuss the impact of your organizing your life on society on the whole. Okay, so with that in mind, okay, absolutely. Come back, see us tomorrow. Bring your friends with you, or bring your enemies. I'm okay. Okay, trolls storm in LA know exactly how to deal with them. Okay, that said, bring anybody you can. It's time to push the limits here. It's time to make positive perceptions a household name around the world. Okay, or if you're a flat earther, all over the surface. That said, until we see you again tomorrow, take care of yourselves